Good morning, everybody. My name is Eli, and this is episode 2 of Savage Sunday. Today, we're going to be focusing on depression, and it's a very, very serious topic. It's a very serious issue in America today. Before we dive in, I do want to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. If you're listening, if you're just watching, if you have a mother, just show love. It's not easy. I'm one half of a parenting team, and I recognize that even as a father, like there's some levels that I can't, achieve as a father. A mother is very, very important, and please express love to all the mothers today. Um, like I said, episode 2, I want to focus on depression. Depression is defined as the persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterizes in a major behavioral shift. These changes may occur in your sleep, appetite, energy level, concentration, daily activity, or lack thereof, um, and can even hinder self esteem. So, when we're looking at depression, right, this is something that's a little bit more widespread. It's probably something that's talked about the most of all mental illnesses. And I really want to touch on the fact that when you look at depression, it doesn't look the same for every single person. Some people, you can see that they're downcast and they don't want to do anything, or they don't find anything interesting. But then there are others that could be in your workplaces, in your family, that literally, walk around with a smile on their face like nothing is wrong. But inside, they're slowly dying. When they're by themselves, they have a feeling of either not being enough, or just feeling like they're never going to achieve the things that they want to achieve. Check up on your friends. Even if you feel like your friends or family members are not experiencing these things to a major degree, tell people that you love them, because that could be a difference maker, right? If somebody is going through something, and it could just be a one-off, maybe it's not something that they deal with on a daily basis, but just hearing, hey man, I love you, hey, I love you, if you're going through something, I want to know that you're in my thoughts. it, that small gesture can make a huge difference. you know when it comes down to depression, a lot of times it is associated with thoughts of suicide. And suicide, if we can't agree on multiple things, the one thing that we can agree on is that suicide is a widespread issue in America. If you or your family members or friends are having thoughts of suicide, please keep in mind that there are programs, there are things that can help. And we're going to be going through some of those. We're going to be listing some of those on the video, some of those mediums of communication. But please, if you know anybody that's experiencing these issues of depression or feeling downcast, be the difference maker in their life. I gotta ask, if you are feeling depressed, and if you are feeling, like you're not good enough, my question to you is, do you have a support system? Because if you don't, feel free to contact me. My contact information is going to be on the video. I have an email that I check on a daily basis, and if anybody needs to just vent, or if somebody needs some sort of guidance, then I implore you to reach out to me. But if you do have a support system and you do have people that you can confide in, do it. Please confide in somebody, and make sure that you are on the path to healing. It starts with a single step. And I want to thank you for getting out of bed, for taking that step to get out of bed. Because most times with depression, you can be in bed all day. But the fact that you got out of bed, you brushed your teeth, you got dressed, even if you didn't really get fully dressed, I know we're in quarantine, open a line of communication with somebody that you trust and somebody that you love. And please, if seeking help through a therapist, or even speaking with your primary care physician, if that is the step that needs to be taken, please do that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to give medical advice or anything like that. But I've dealt with every single topic that we will touch on in this series, and depression is one thing that I've been struggling with for the majority of my life. It can be from chemical imbalance. It could be from trauma. It can be from so many different things, so many different factors. So please seek help, because it will be the best thing that you do. It may not be the thing that you really, really want to do, but you can liken depression to any ailment, and it is something that will get worse over time. I wanna focus on a thought. First and foremost, suicidal ideation is something that does present itself through depression a lot of times. And with suicidal ideation, it doesn't necessarily have to be focused on an act, but it can be just a thought. And when you think about something, it can lead to an action. Maybe it never does. Maybe you just keep thinking, how would it be if I just wasn't here? But that's a dangerous thought, and that's a dangerous seed to be planted in your mind. Because once that thing is planted, if it gets the right watering, it will grow. And that is not what I want for you. Look, I don't have to know you to love you. Please understand that. You matter. You absolutely matter. I want to focus on a fable. It's called The Frog in a Boiling Pot. Now, scientists or logical thinkers have always downcasted this story, because they're like, oh, it's not realistic. And cool, if it's not realistic and you don't like it, to log off. I'm not here to split hairs on semantics, but the fable goes that a frog is able to actually adjust its body temperature with the water that it's surrounded by. So if we're going to focus on the frog being people, and the water being our surrounding circumstances, as things start to heat up, the frog's temperature allows the frog to actually adjust, right, and to adapt. So there's a frog in a pot of water, and the person ends up turning the temperature up higher and higher. And as the temperature rises, so does the inner temperature for the frog. But there is a point where the frog is no longer allowed to adapt, and the frog is boiled alive. Now, for the logical thinkers, true enough, when the water gets to a boiling temperature, the frog jumps out of the pot. But what if it didn't? And what if you're the frog that won't jump out? You would just allow your circumstance to overwhelm you, engulf you, and eventually kill you. Depression doesn't always lead to suicide, but you can't give me examples of people who commit suicide that haven't dealt with depression. I don't want you to be the frog that's boiled alive. Please take the time to seek some help and allow yourself to change and evolve out of your circumstance. Be the frog that jumps out of the pot. We are going to be diving into manic depression next, bipolar disorder. So I do encourage you, if you like what you see here, please continue to join in. And if you feel like somebody needs to hear this message, feel free to share. Till next week, God bless, stay safe, stay sane. Can't wait to speak with you guys next week. All right.